Hello, that is halo rather than hello. I will not any longer be employing the usages thereof or use to simply say that being of the greeting or greeting word of hello. Please do excuse, pardon or forgive me for possibly, not practically, but possibly butchering the English language and American dialect once again. But then I never had claimed to have become or be an English major, neither nor an English professor. But anyway, though, as a backtrack here with reasonable purposes being, in order so I can go on to following to continue from where and when that my person had last stuff also I can finish up as incomplete a form of previous Friday I thought and or in the same sense of the word. And whereas I will not any longer or no longer be employing the usages of or be using that being of the or a greeting word of hello after I had read this one leaflet, pamphlet, or whatever I said of this one author who was saying in more words or less that when one person greets another individual with that being of the or greeting word of hello, then what one is doing is supposedly wishing some kind, sort of type of a curse upon another individual person with the root word of the or greeting word of hello being that of hell, being of which is to be translated to be defined as meaning a place of torment. And so therefore I have excluded it from that being of my vocabulary, like a Dewey Decimal file system of the public branch library system or whatever I said. Anyway, though, speaking upon communications, I'm not broadcasting via that the usual format of electronic frequency transmissions. So far as concerning that of my home phone service bundle of home phone, internet, and television, but rather from that being on my cell phone, for what it's worth. But then it is the only means of communication that I have, as the other has been or has become inoperable, inactive, or deactivated, has become of the status or be of some such of that nature. And as I had taken it upon myself the liberty to make it like so until further notice, as I am in the process of relocating to another place of residence for a building address location after that being of a discrepancy as in misunderstanding had developed and become a result of that to be considered a disagreement between the management of the building where that of my person am presently at as a tenant or one of some of such among the tenants here and I myself, yes, between that's as a result of developments of misunderstanding having developed, become a result of that vice versa there of a disagreement between the management of the building and me, or being that of the person by myself, after the likes had believed the lie that this one proverbial neighbor from damn hell, or one of the dime a dozen public nuisances of problem neighbors, had told them, much rather instead of believing the fact of the matter of truth that I had informed them about the same of the said in question of the former previous prior mentioned character, that had gone through all the proper policies on procedures of protocol to state my grievances with them, being of any management, administrative management, real estate personnel representatives, as well as I had reported this problem neighbor of a public nuisance or a proverbial neighbor from damn hell to the police a number of times, and whereas he himself had retaliated out of resentment for that my person having done so by managing to successfully flip the script and convincing the management of the building to give me that of the walking papers of something similar to an eviction notice, being of a non-renewal of apartment rental lease agreement document or letter of correspondence, being in which he himself should have received much rather instead, and now whereas I have to move, you know, for that the mandated ultimatum for a scheduled appointment date that was given to me, whereas I would have to vacate the premises of properties for my present place of residence, as we have here, or this building either fits at a given vicinity area, neighborhood, community at its location in some such due times. In some such due time, rather, that's what I mean to say. According to the sign of the times as we have it. Excuse, pardon, forgive me for butchering the English language of American dialect. Once again, practically and possibly for the consecutive uptime time. So this is where things stand at the moment, Yeah. And I myself just have to take the bitter with the sweet, more whatever one wants to call it, a colloquial, something about when you have lemons, make lemon pie. No, I know what it said. It said when you have lemons, make lemonade. Then you can make lemon pie and lemon cake for that matter with lemons. So I heard. Yeah. So anyway, though, I'm just trying to chill at the moment. As you all know, that of the weather temps is supposed to have become something like, if you consider some of such of a point of view in due regard in reference to the heat index factor, whereas the weather temps are or is supposed to be literally actually something like say somewhere about 90 something they were saying, weatherman and weatherwoman, but then the heat index factor makes it hotter, whereas it's supposed to get up into the triple digits like 105 or so, something like that. Oh, that thought. Yeah, I get to drink some water. Let's get, you know what I'm saying? Yes. Oh, that thought again. So get some of this here, what you call bottled H2O. As I myself, being that my person, no longer drink. See, I am butchering the English language, American dialect. I no longer, no, not any longer drink any tap water unless I really have to on some such rather short notice. Okay, I usually get, I can say ice mount, you know, and then depending on what my food stamps is like, then I will have to compromise and negotiate that a personal survival plan or program. And that's saying I thought this is where I get the generic brand. Hold it. I'm going to have to pay my water bill otherwise. So you're just going to have to, you know, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel one coming on. Okay? On this. I used to stay. So I can't let you. Because I'm going to move back into one of my old neighborhoods. Since they're far away. I'm getting more stalkers than what I could possibly already have. You know what I'm saying? And like some such proverbial neighbors from damn hell. Public nuisance is a problem. Neighbors. You know what I'm saying? And then some. Oh, it's on there now. What the hell? Other than that, I do believe in self-defense, so nobody should be like to stalk me for my next new place of residence, though the address location in the background. It's pretty much so like well, not that far from where I'm supposed to be relocating to. Then I do believe in calling the police, with little or no doubt. You know what I'm saying? As I support the police, I don't believe in defunding them. I mean, that's a crazy idea. You know, I mean, why would you want to really like? Oh, I understand the argument if we look at it from one point of view, it's not another, but it's still a crazy ideal. Okay, unless you're going to enroll in a police academy and train to become a police officer, then who's going to protect American citizens and all foreigners from the riffraff, the rank and file of the criminal elements of society for any country or nation? They're supposed to be professional law enforcement, compared to citizens volunteer outfit. You understand what I'm saying? Unless you're prior military personnel or something, who's going to police the streets to protect the people at large or the general public, American citizens and foreigners alike, from some or such of the most dangerous of scumbag riffraffs of lowlifes, from the muggers, robbers, killers, rapists, especially the last mentioned. So, and speaking on that matter, now to come to mind, the ideal of defunding the police is one of the craziest ideals that had ever been put upon a boardroom conference table. So, anybody thinking along that line of thought is a fool, in my book. And moving right along. Yes, so I'm here back at my place of residence. Kind of overslept. I didn't really step out for the day. I'm going to step out at the time. I'm not that I would be meaning to come off like some kind, sort of type of a hermit, because eventually I would have to get out in the streets and take care of the necessary business at hand. But once in a blue moon, every now and then, or like on occasion, there's just that one day out of what is it, a million years, a millennia or a century. You just feel like shutting your place of residence door upon the rest of the world. Be you feeling up under the weather or not, Yeah. Especially if you woke up late to begin with. And then some or such other could compound the feeling of how you could be like feeling like you had woke up on the wrong side of the bed for a particular given day or week. There I go butchering the English names again, American dialect. Disregard or ignore any disruption you can hear in the background, not making reference to or regarding any electronic frequencies or transmissions otherwise. Then my TV is on television, so I'm making reference to a radio. But that is disregard, no, not that either, but you but rather a proverbial neighbor from hell, or one of the neighbors from damn hell, cuckoo for cocoa pops, cock a doodle doo cuckoos, And believe me when I say that there's more than quite a few of them within this here building, regardless of race and walk of life, especially the ones Been of whom be bothering with other neighbors' apartment doors, like the very one that has got me kicked out of my place of residence in the first place. Whereas now I have to move. You know, really now. I'm like, really now? Are you freaking kidding me? And this one real estate personnel representative that is a part of the management of administration for the office, where she has the habit of handing me some such rather controversial slips of paper on the sly, where this time it was something of a nature of a little actual, you know, compliment to an eviction notice or similar to it, and she had it folded up and handed to me with a rent receipt that was folded up, a slip of paper, a rent receipt that was folded up likewise, and was thinking that maybe I could just step out the building without looking at it soon enough, and then only recognize and realize after I were to elsewhere after hours and see what it would be. But something or somebody told me then and there to look at it. It had to be God, and sure enough, it was just that, walking papers, and I was I was infuriated. But that's not the half of what I meant to say. I mean, I was pissed, after all the living damn hell that I have had to put up with, you know, within this atmosphere as the neighbor from down hell makes it a hellhole for me. This dickhead prick. No, let me phrase that. This male character of a Hannibal Lecter wannabe. Hannibal Lecter wannabe? For those of you all who don't know who Hannibal Lecter is supposed to be, a character out of a movie flick or Hollywood or Hollywood California motion picture production, compared to those of you who do. Hannibal Lecter is supposed to be some kind of a mass murderer or serial killer. Your neighbor from damn hell is like that? Whoa. Well, hopefully not, but he's a sick or psycho enough in his own right. I mean, anytime you don't hear a television and a radio in another neighbor's apartment or a place of residence for its atmospheres, premises, properties, but yet you can hear all the bam, bam, rubbles routine, all of the goose stepping, the bumping, and the stomping, the dropping things on the floors, the dragging things across the floors, the bouncing things off the walls and ceilings, the banging on the pipes, running under water, whereas, etc., whereas it would prove to be or become quite annoying enough as it would be the case of situation up under conditions of rather extenuating circumstances. During the daylight hours, then have to hear that during the late night evening hours to add insult to injury to compliment that of how he has managed to get me kicked to the curb, kicked out of the building, and now he's working on attempting to drive me completely bonkers as well. I'm like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You succeeded with one, now be happy. And I have to listen to that still up until the time I'm supposed to move from here, you know. But then getting back to this real estate management personnel representative, whereas her coworker had informed my person when I was trying to pay my rent last to her, oh, she no longer is in this building. She been relocated to another building to, do her 9 to 5 gig. And I'm like wondering, did she make a request as a supervisor to be relocated elsewhere? You know, after she could have become subject to experiencing a guilty conscience of having given me the the walking papers that this one neighbor from damn hell should have received. So I just handed my rent to her co-worker, co-employee that's still here for the downstairs business office. If at all she had relocated, maybe after I moved from here, then she'd come back to the building. I don't want to. I mean, they like to tell me some anything and everything. You never know. And as I mentioned in the footnotes, I have yet, or if not, or in the what about to say no, as I had mentioned in the footnotes, rather correction, if not mentioned it in the basic introduction, I think I did. If I didn't, well, footnotes will compliment what I meant to say for the last mention. Yeah, this real estate management personnel representative. Supposedly, I take it to, before she's supposed to have relocated elsewhere, to supposedly appease my attitude of resentment for how I had been given walking papers that a neighbor from damn hell should have received much better instead of me. Informed my person that he supposedly moved out. And where somebody saying, well, if that's the case, then how come I'm still hearing the same ridiculously extreme, excessive, ignorant, insane, impolite, or stupid, sick, sadistic, and rude noises of different sorts or types upon a daily and nightly basis? Now either he himself has crept back into the building or never had moved out compared to what I had been informed, or somebody's taking his place like one of his homies, an accomplice in crime, or the supposed so-called new neighbor, if at all, new tenant had moved into his old place of residence. Yet I'm still hearing the same old crap. And whereas this administrative management personnel representative could have possibly just told me that to keep me from going to court against the real estate management business company or corporation, being in which she herself, being that her person is affiliated associated with and are representing, you know, to try to get me out of here much sooner, you know. But then where's the housing agency was telling me regardless, because until everything is squared away, after I had sat down and discussed the matter with the new landlord or new building at its location, whereas paperwork, documents were filled out and signed, until everything is squared away, I'm still here. And whereas it proved to have become more or less promising, well, much rather than how I had been sent on a wild goose chase and held hostage over phone by more than quite a few landlords, being of whom would be commonly called and or commonly known as slumlords, you know, and as these were mainly mostly white landlords, much more prime real estate premises properties, and for vicinity areas of a multiracial neighborhood community here and there, or multiracial neighborhood community, whereas I wanted to still become or be a tenant within a multiracial neighborhood community compared to how I have had to reconsider that of a alternative option being to relocate to one of the predominantly ethnic minority vicinity area neighborhood communities upon short notice as a result of developments of white landlords playing games or send me on a wild goose chase or hold me hostage over phone. And because I'm pressed for time, I have a deadline and have to, get up out of here before the scheduled appointed date and time when I am to vacate the premises properties of some such as we have it here in my present place of residence atmosphere, with or without that being of my personal effects, belongings, or possessions. Hopefully, with and without. Whereas I have had to juggle quite a few bills, I have had to postpone payment of certain services so that I can make sure that not only would I have, that money hopefully saved up, being of enough to not only, relocate my personal effects, belongings, or possessions, but also so that I can, for reason or purpose, being in order to make sure I have the first month annual rent to be paid to the new landlord elsewhere, or a landlord for a different building address location. For a vicinity area neighborhood community, being of which is unfortunately to be considered as one of the predominantly ethnic minority ones. But then home is what you make of it. That's the downside of some such. Whereas the upside, I suppose, supposedly, I suppose, well, you're not missing, or the figure of speech last minute. Whereas the upside would be that at least I don't have to worry so much about possibly becoming or being the statistical racial percentiles or percentages of the derelict transients as in homeless persons. You know, if everything goes through according to plan of action, according to plans, according to the program at hand. You know, because that homeless lifestyle is not a walk in the park. It's no picnic. Being homeless, especially with seasonable weather temps, being which could complement and fulfill biblical prophecies. Be it for a hot summer month or for a cold winter month, or still another season. Whereas they said that the weather temps is supposed to get up to, was it's supposed to be something like 90 something, but the heat index factor makes it not only same but feel hotter. Whereas it's supposed to get up in the triple digits, and that's what it's supposed to be like for today. It's supposed to last up until tomorrow, being Thursday, and Thursday night when it's supposed to cool off. But the heat index factor is supposed to be in the triple digits, and God knows that nobody wants to engage in a conflict of interest, for that to be considered premises properties of an interstate highway with all this road rage, or for premises of properties for given address location for a place of business, or then some. It just reminded me at one place of business I was trying to pay my phone bill, and a father had mistaken me for a minute there with one of those predators otherwise, whereas I was asking the children in the atmosphere of the place of business, where is their mom? And one of them said, oh, she's over there. And as I said, well, if she was here and now, I would give her a little something for you all, so far as little scratch paper money is concerned. So I left the place of business as I was, that after I was taken care of, I thought nothing of it. As I'm going to another place of business of another nature to give me a right to eat. Here it is, the father walks in there and he gets mouthing off to me. Did you say something to my children? It's like my life flew before my eyes. I'm like, oh, I didn't say anything to your children. I'm just saying, like, if their mom, your wife, was present within the area where we were seated at in that place of business for this phone company, then I could possibly, make a free will offering, a little money, stash of cash as an early Christmas present. Then he left it alone. I'm like, what? Are you freaking kidding me? It made me thinking, wow, if I was like concealed carry security guard or concealed carry police officer, detective, then I just pull back, a summer jacket, say, walk away, fool. Can't you see I'm law enforcement? What are you taking me for? You're attempting to mislabel me as, or you know misclassify or miscategorize me with one of the riffraff of the lowest of scumbags. Walk away. Pull back my flap of my lightweight summer jacket. I said, walk away. I repeat, walk away and be strapped to a T, with loaded lethal weapon of a registered firearm. Like, walk away. Do not attempt me problems, and we won't have a problem. Rather, should I say, you won't have a problem. Just walk away. You with your misunderstanding of my person. Yeah, that freaked me out, and I was unarmed. And I don't know what he could have had on him. But you know how it is in this day and age. I'm like saying, what if I had not answered him like I did? Not that I would be coming off like a kid. Disregard, ignore what you heard in the background. It's just this crazy dickhead prick of a neighbor from damn hell, faggot, or faggoty male character, or whoever's taking his place, or whoever's taking up from when he had last left off. No, I'm not extremely homophobic. I was just saying. I mean, anytime a male focuses so much of his attentions upon another male of the same sex, then he himself has to be faggy or a little actual closet faggot, not to mention nutcase. That was just him making with his Bam Bam Rubber routine. Was I wonder if he himself, or either him or whoever is taking this place, I wonder if one is more of a creep or just as much of a creep, if not more. Is that what I'm missing? No, I wonder if one is more of a creep than making like with the Bam Bam Rubber routine. That was just whoever it is of a jackass or excuse me, of a dickhead. No, where you might say of a idiot and a sickle, not to mention creep, carrying on with one's Bam Bam Road. See, y'all heard it yourselves. I have to listen to this crap every day and every night, you know, and I'm the one that has been given walking papers that a neighbor from damn hell should have received. The devil is a lie and the truth is not in him. Well, I'm about to wrap this up, you know. Yeah, I'll be like practically running from this building once I were to get situated elsewhere. Get away from this crazy motherfucker. Oh no, there I go again. Let me phrase crazy MF, sane SOB bastard. Oh no, I don't use that name, but then you know what I mean. Sorry about that, you all. I apologize, but I think you get the general idea of what I'm trying to say. Some people they don't need to be out here. They need to be locked up in an insane asylum or penitentiary or somewhere where they would prove to become or be less of a threat to their fellow American citizens and all foreigners, peace of mind, not to mention so that they won't possibly violate another person's civil and on human rights otherwise, if you know what I mean, or prove to become or be a public safety threat against other individuals or other persons or people, you know. And like that Sandy Hook male character wannabe most recently. And to think that our president elect, he has the audacity to speak against that character of a male. This was a young adolescent teenage boy, and yet he's an abortionist supporter. The president elect, speaking about those matter, compared to how the former ex-president of the USA is supposed to be anti-abortion. You know, yeah, our former ex-president, who although he himself was twice impeached, but then yet he was twice acquitted, or also than the clown we have in there now that had made American citizens become subject to experiencing another failed Vietnam within the third world country or nation of Afghanistan, with him having pulled out our own military troops from there prematurely, and whereas now that country or nation has been taken over by radicals, Islamic Muslim terrorists who can compare on to those being their fellow hoodlums or gangsters, Mexican drug cartel lords, who also run a country, you know. And whereas the average Islamic Muslim terrorist male, and likewise the average, and I say, and likewise the average Mexican drug cartel lord male of a character in one's own right is like a cocksucker in my book, you know. Make jail like a revolving door so that they can engage in their faggot freak fest, I suppose. I don't know. You all tell me. And no offense is meant to be directed at any much more familiar faggots. Like I said, I'm not extreme homophobe, okay? I'm not affiliated, associated with, and representing the Westboro Baptist Church with its bogus email of www.godhatesfags.com. God doesn't or don't hate faggots. He is just against their alternative lifestyle preference, you know, as God made Adam and Eve to get together, not Adam and Steve or Adam and Stephanie. And so much for that conversation. I'm gonna wrap this up and conclude matter by saying, as I will usually give the basic intro as an introduction, and then go about submitting to you all via that of social media broadcast video that of the basic introduction. First, I did say that already. As I will give y'all the intro as an introduction for a social media broadcast video And I will give you all the footnotes likewise somewhere along the line to complement to accompany that of the content of a social media broadcast video. And then last but not least, I will get the conclusion, whereas I will paraphrase, if not quote exactly, sometimes I do say so exactly in due regard, and leaving with you all the gospel message of salvation of the Lamb. I thought by saying, if you have not gotten Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, I will hope that you would think to do so now of a man's tent while the blood is still running warm, you vain by recognizing and realizing what he himself had done or did upon the cross of Calvary on the hill of Golgotha. Suffering at the hands of some set of Roman soldiers up on the orders of their superiors, be they militaristic, political, religious, etc. Otherwise, from centurions to Caesars, to Pharisees and Sadducees, but then nevertheless, was he went to that cross to Calvary, become perfect sacrifice, the only sacrifice for you as well as for me, so that any of us being on whatsoever race and whatever walks of life, rather society or lifestyle preferences being an old and young, like both through sexual dealing, male, female, represent not only the human species, the global community within its post-911 era, new millennium, apocalyptic day and age, where the doomsday clock is now at a couple of few minutes that computer on a form prior to then, was a quarter midnight for the rather biblically prophetic time. Were to profess someone such faith in him, you will not have to worry about going to hell, for your final destination will be heaven once you were to leave this world. And you will be blessed while you're still here. You all take care and be safe. And I'll let you later. Till then, we out. Peace.